មាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាផ្លេចមានសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបំរើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរត្រឹមរកគ្នាពីមពីសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរបស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសិលធម៌ថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រោកឡើងសង្គ្រោះជាខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរឿងសេនសានជ័យយោគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិសមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាថ្មីគ្មានសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបំរើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរត្រឹមរកគ្នាពីមពីសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរបស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសិលធម៌ថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រោកឡើងសង្គ្រោះជាខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំផ្ដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរឿងសេនសាន
and welcome to our show. Wasn't that a great intro to start off the show? Thank you for joining our show. This is CNRP America live show. This show is under Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. Thank you for being here. I have been off for like a whole month, but thank you for being here, and I'm glad to be back. It's just so busy with schedule and with work. But I'm glad to be back today, and we have a really great discussions. Our topic for today is we will talk about S3052, and that is called Cambodia Democracy and Human Rights Act of 2022. Last year was 2021, but now it's 2022. It's the same as 3052. And the reason we talk about that because there's some update that we want to give to our audience. You probably seen it already since July 19. So we would like to give our audience some update, and so that way you know that we still are working on S3052. So I have two wonderful guests. They are giving up their time for 1 hour to be with me, and they are so lovely. So let me introduce my first guest. Her name is Sita Arunson. She is in Fresno, California. So she is in California with me, just different locations. So from her to I is probably 4-hour drive, but let me bring her out.
No, not yet.
ជំរាបសួរបង Sita.
ជំរាបសួរ Linda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well.
It was nice to see you 2 weeks ago. You were here in Long Beach. Would you like to share why you were here in Long Beach?
We did a few things. We did the protest to voice out our concern for the people who were jailed in Cambodia, and we protest in front of the the Cambodian consul, to ask for release of detainee in Cambodia, political detainee like Terry Sane and many others. And we also had a meeting with the woman affair of CNRP-A.
Thank you, Bong. And how long was the drive from Fresno to Long Beach, Bong?
3.5 to 4 hours, depend on how fast you drive and the
So we
traffic.
just say pedal to the pedals, 3 hours?
About 3.5 hours, yeah.
And thank you, Bong. 3-hour drive. It's a pretty long distance. And thank you, Bong, for making the trip to Long Beach. Like Bong Sita said, we did a rally, a political prisoner in Long Beach, and we did that in the morning. And just to let you know, we walked almost an hour from the Cambodia consulate to downtown, what we call Cambodian town. So it's like almost 2 miles walk. So, but we were, 2 miles walk is nothing comparing to all our political prisoners that in Cambodia that are unjustly arrested and put in jail. And we want the regime to release them. So thank you, Bang, for joining our show, joining the protest 2 weeks ago. Anything you want to add? You enjoyed the protest? You enjoyed the rally? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was nice to see other people gather. A lot of people that we that gather and do, and many people come from different city. Like we have people came from Modesto. That's even 2 more hour drive from where I'm at. So total of how many hour? 5 hour or more. And from Fresno, from other cities. So I'm glad to see the unity. We are here to voice out our voice to for the Cambodian people in Cambodia.
And also, we just want to say we don't forget them.
Yeah.
They still in our
In
thought
our
and
mind.
our mind. And I also
Every day.
we want the regime to release them now and unconditionally. I have off Facebook for a while, and now I cannot speak. So thank you, Bong, for being here. Let me bring out my second guest. Let me bring out Brittany Baker. So Brittany,
Bong.
how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Thank you. And you look great. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for the show, as always.
Thank you. Are you back to work? Back to school?
Yes, I'm
You
back.
always go to school. You're always going to be in school because you're a teacher.
Right. Yeah. I'm mostly back.
Is it back to regular schedule school, or is it still summer teaching the kid for summer school?
It's still summer, so we still have a little bit of time, and actually the teachers might be on strike because our contract is up, and unfortunately the board is not negotiating with the union, so everything is a little bit in limbo right now, but we'll see.
What does Brittany want?
I totally support the union and the demands of the union. They're reasonable, and the students deserve it. I believe in public education, and I will stand beside the union, and I'm thankful for the union advocating, and it's unfortunate the board is taking the position of not wanting to negotiate. So we'll see what happens, because the students deserve it, the teachers deserve it, the bus drivers, the staff, the social workers in the schools, the counselors, everyone deserves schools with air conditionings that are well resourced and have the best possibilities for the students.
And thank you, Brittany, for always bringing it up. And as always, teacher deserve everything that they need because they are at school with our children, and they whatever they need, school supply, a raise, but teacher barely making anything, barely, and also many teacher they pull out their money to buy school supplies so that way the student get all the accessory or the full education.
Right.
And thank you for being here.
Of course.
As always, thank you. You get a lot of comment that you look great and look beautiful. Let me bring back Bong Sita. Our topic today is the S3052. On July 19, the Senate of Foreign Relations Committee voted to move the legislations to put on a calendar to be voted on a future date. When they did that, they actually revised it as 3052. They put on 30 findings, what Congress found. And also what they did was they changed the title from the Cambodian democracy and human rights of 2021 to 2022. So that way it's more updated a little bit. It's been 9 months since we first introduced S3052. Brittany, I, and Bong Sita have talked about S3052 many times before to our audience. So I would like Brittany to summarize a little bit what is it about, and then Bong Sita can also say can also chime in after Brittany's like why do we need S3052 in Cambodia? We in America here, why do we need that for Cambodia?
Sure. It's a piece of legislation that addresses a lot of the issues that we've seen in recent years and historically in Cambodia under the 40 years of the Hun Sen regime. So S3052 would be used to promote free and fair elections, promote democracy efforts, political freedom, and addresses human rights issues. With the updates from the committee recently, the proposed legislation talks a lot about the political prisoners and the situation that's evolving since the commune election in June. Talks about the uptick of hostility and the encroachment of China, especially in the southern part of the country. So the bill would address a lot of the injustices that we've been fighting for, that the Cambodian people have been fighting for, and also ensure that there is an opposition party that is allowed to participate fully in the elections, among other things, such as addressing the issue of lack of media, lack of transparent and free, independent media. So the bill addresses a lot of those concerns that we have.
Thank you, Brittany. I can you hear me or is it echo?
We can hear you.
Okay. I'm just scrolling through the legislation, the S3052. I'm highlight over here. It's Congress found 24 items regarding Cambodia, the regime. So you can see all this scratch out. So when they on July 19, when the let me see, my screens are froze. On July 19, they moved this bill from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to put on this calendar for vote. We don't know when they're going to vote, but at least it moved out from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. What it is that consists of 22 senators, 11 from called minority and 11 from majority. The majority is from Democrat and the minority is from Republican. So this legislation, this S3052 have been sitting at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee since basically since I believe it's October. I don't have exact date, sorry, 9 months ago, was sitting with them, and the Women Affair, the CNR, and also A1 from CNRP A in America as well. We are working on this bill, pushing and meeting the staff and the senator, asking for them to support. So finally, on July 19, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee passed and agreed to move this legislation, which is S3052, to be on a calendar for vote on a future date. So when during that time, what you see in front of you, this is the actual S3052. So they found 24 items. So they scratch all these findings, and they put on a new title, the Cambodia Democracy and Human Rights Acts of 2022. So Congress finds the following. So they update. So all these findings that you see right now. So from 24, they added, so the end of that have 30 of them. And starting from 19, if you have a chance to read it, starting from 19, it start talking about, it's very, very current event. What I highlight is December 2021, the government of Cambodia has restricted the labor rights of workers protesting working condition and illegal dismissal at the Naga World Casino, including using COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse. So it is a very updated, very detailed report of what's going on. So from 19 until 30, just go over a little bit. This is as of June 8, 2022. So this is like less than 2 months ago, in the groundbreaking ceremony for constructing new facility at Ream Naval Base. So this is something that they found, and it's very updated. So they changed the title to Cambodian Democracy Act of and Human Rights Act of 2022, including 30 findings from the Congress, and the latest date was June 8, 2022. So it's very updated. It's not something that we tell them. It's something that they found, that they believe this is what's going on, that they found what's going on in Cambodia. So Bong Sita, Brittany summarized a little bit of the S3052 already. Can you help to summarize what is this going to do to to Cambodia?
Well, when the bill passed from the Senate, and then it's going to go to the Congress, and when it passed the Congress, it's going to go to the president, and then the president pass it, it becomes the bill. And once that becomes the bill, it's going to put restriction on Hun Sen's, on many of those Hun Sen's crony, who's involved in the corruption, in the pressure of the what's the law, or what's the bill is about. It's to put pressure on those corrupted individual who will, restriction in the United States. That so one of those passage that I want to bring out is, it says corruption was endemic throughout society and government. So when that bill passed and become the law, the United States have to gonna enforce that law to put restriction on those individual and Cambodian government in the United States to abide by United States law and regulation over here. So they will hoping for the Hun Sen government to change, to become a better government. So that's the hope for the bill.
Thank you, Bong. We know that Hun Sen been in power since 1984. for the bill, how would they plan to sanction the Crony of Cambodia, Brittany? How would they plan to do that?
Yeah, good question. So this bill, similar to other bills that have been proposed, would give very targeted sanctions for Hun Sen and the people that are around him that have been complicit in violating human rights, and would restrict visas, would freeze their assets. A lot of those corrupt officials have business interests in the United States. They might come here to study or might send their kids here to study, as we've seen with Hun Sen. All of those things would be restricted as a result of the passage of this bill. So it doesn't affect the common person in Cambodia. It's targeted sanctions that would cripple the 1%, if you will, the people who are responsible for committing the human rights abuses.
So, according to this bill, from what you said, is the ordinary citizen that walking or doing, just to survive in Cambodia wouldn't be affected at all, because this sanction is sanctioned the Crony. When we say Crony, is people that undermine democracy, people that violated human rights. Also, what is the benefit if we not targeting Cambodian? What is their benefit? What is the ordinary Cambodian benefit from that? Can you answer, Brittany?
The benefit of the Cambodian people if this when this is passed.
Yes.
The benefit is that it will, as a result of sanctioning the officials, the CPP officials that have committed these human rights abuses, will allow more people to speak up as we lead to the the national election next year. People will hopefully have more of a space in which they can safely speak up, and their will be truly expressed. The legislation would has a particular focus on the political prisoner situation, citing even recently, as of 2019, 2020, the political prisoner situation. So it would allow people to more freely, safely express their will, hopefully.
Thank you. Yes, we are hope through the sanction, through freezing asset, and we know that the regime, like Hun Sen himself, his family, his crony, I always show. I didn't prepare the video. We always share. We always show like the dirtiest dozen, where they deforestations, they land grabbing, and those are people that we're gonna sanctions and we're gonna free their asset. We will not let them and their family into America. So by having that tight situation, that freezing the asset, freezing, hopefully it hit them hard, that they will loosen up on the people of Cambodia, because right now there's no freedom of speech, there's no independent media, like so and also if you were to say something and you just breeding the wrong locations, you'll be in jail. So that's what we hope is for them to for the Cambodia regime, through the sanctions, be able for independent media to go in, and also for people to have more freedom of speech and more freedom of choice, freedom for elections, not for intimidating people. And also we know that recently the candlelight party is very popular in Cambodia, but at the same time, before the June 5th commune elections, there's many threats. We hear from on the news, there's many threats, and also there's many intimidations for just signing up their name to be an elected official and also to be belong to a party that's different from the CPP, it's very dangerous. So we are hopeful that the political space in Cambodia will be loosened up a little bit instead of so tight. Let me stop sharing the screen so we can see my audience, my my guests a little bigger.
If I may
Bong,
add,
yeah, go ahead, Bong.
yeah, in addition to the 30 dozen that we hope to have, United States have restriction on them, putting pressure on them in the United States, those we hope to put United States put pressure on those people who also supporting those Hun Sen regime in United States. Right now, they are so arrogant, out there in the full force, supporting Hun Sen's dictatorship, even though they live their beautiful life here in the United States with all the freedom, but then at the same time they supporting the dictatorship's Hun Sen regime, and they brag about it. They do many things in the United States so freely. So hopefully, when the law passed, we'll have some restriction on those people as well. That if you enjoy the freedom here, you enjoy the free election here, the free speech here, you shouldn't be supporting dictatorship where they oppress people in Cambodia. Just the opposite of what they have over here. So that's my other hope that will come out from that law when it's become the law.
Thank you, Bong. I forgot what I was going to ask you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Through the 30 finding that Congress found. I mean, Congress put on the S3052. Is any particular one that you like? This is hit the nail. This is what I been hopeful that they found, but now they actually found it. Do you agree? Do you agree with all 30? Or is any one of them that you like more than the rest?
Are you talking to me or
Yeah,
Brittany?
for you to you.
Okay. All of them are very specific. Uh, the but like uh, like the one I mentioned earlier, like number 23, the corruption in Cambodia, in the juridic the jury, judicial, and then in the police. It's very corrupted. It's corrupt all around. Everything they take order from Hun Sen, the judicial branch and the police, everywhere they take order from Hun Sen. So these 30 what you call finding in the Senate verbiage, they're very specific and they're very accurate, and all of them are good. So we just have to go through all of them. But yeah, I like all of them.
Yeah, and it's very current. Like I said, the last one is June 8th. That's like less than 2 months ago. So this is something that is very serious that the Senate, or we can say the American government, take it seriously because it is undermine democracy, and Cambodia is considered themselves as the country of democracy. When country of democracy meaning that you are people are free to go vote, people are free and fair elections, and so that's what I'm surprised when I look at the finding that is very up to date. Now I'm gonna throw the same question to you, Brittany. Any particular one that you say, oh my gosh, this is what I was hoping for. Now it's on. Now that they add 6 more.
I am pleased with the markup. I was pleased with it before the markup, but even more so now because it's evident that
the committee has done their research. They're very well aware of the situation in the region, and with the regional actors such as China's influence and encroachment in the area. So while I don't have a specific markup that I like the most, I will applaud their attention of the human rights abuses and their acknowledgement of the more than 80 opposition party supporters and activists who were arrested in 2019. I think we're all aware of the recent arrest and sentencing of Cambodian American Sing Terry. And I think with her international profile, it's brought into light the awful situation of the dozens of other political prisoners who remain behind bars or out on parole with real threat of incarceration again. So the part that I most applaud is the focus on the political prisoners and also the need for independent media. As we know, before the last national election in 2017, RFA and Cambodia Daily and other independent media outlets were removed from the country. So those are the things that the Senate is acknowledging in this legislation, and which is echoed by the people of Cambodia too.
Well, let me see, Sita, were you surprised that they that detail into this Congress finding, with that really detail, even talking about the Naga Corp worker that's on strike, and it's still on strike. If you have not followed the news, they still on strike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very impressed. And I just want to also say that these findings brought to light throughout. We have to give a lot of the Women Affairs Foreign Affairs Committee of CNRP-A, which Brittany, you, Linda, and many other on that been working tirelessly to make noise with the Senate, with the senators and their staff, and all these months that highlight their attention on these finding even more. So just want to say that. And yes, I'm very impressed on the specific finding. And they also talk about China secure 99 years lease agreement, in airports, in many different places. Yeah, it's very specific and very detailed, very impressive.
Thank you, Bong. I feel the same way. That is very detailed, and one of our dedicated audience said, democracy is looking at you, Cambodia. So that's what she means. She means like, America is looking at you, Cambodia. America know every single step what you do, even though it's so far away. If you take a airplane to Cambodia, it's going to take like almost 24 hours in some case. And due to COVID situation where there's not many flights, you can be 2 or 3 days just to get to Cambodia. But no, I'm keep saying it, like before was 24 finding, now it's 30 of them, and it's specifically listing since number 19. I will put a link on. Let me do it right now. I will put a link on it so our audience can actually have a chance to go and review this as well. Yeah, it's a long document, but it's something that ring the bell with us because we live in America. We feel that we enjoy the democracy in this country. And Bong Sita said regarding people that live in this country, and then going to support dictator. When this bill passed, due to the ties, the flow of the asset hopefully the money from Cambodia is not flowing, not freely into America, and that because those supporters need money from the regime to be able to support them, and also the level of intimidations and you were talking about the really main idea of this. I've got to bring up the main idea of S3052 is CNRP. They want to reinstate back CNRP to political life. They want to release all these CNRP political prisoner. So all these are mainly, and also release the CNRP leader, which is Kamsaka. He is still on trial. I miscount. It's probably he been to court over 50 times already, and there's many other political prisoners that are still in jail. And also, if they got released, they released under the assumption that if they do something wrong, if they say something, I always say they don't have to say something; they just have to breathe. They will put back in jail. So even though they serve their time in jail, they are out under the condition, and they have to sign their life away that they're not supposed to say a certain word. They're supposed to be respectful to the regime. There's no such thing as freedom of speech. Anything you want to add, Brittany, on the S3052 that I haven't asked before I move to a different questions?
Sure. I would just also remind, or maybe remind isn't the best word, but also I think it's timely with what we see happening in the region as Cambodia now has the rotating chairmanship of ASEAN, much like we saw 10 years ago of inaction and secret meetings and canceled meetings and lack of leadership under Hun Sen, while the region desperately needs coalition and collective action, especially after several years of COVID and the situation with the military coup in Myanmar. And just 2 weeks ago, we had 4 pro-democracy activists who were executed in Burma and Myanmar, and there are dozens more that could be executed at any minute. And Hun Sen has consistently sided with the military coup leader in Burma and backed him despite the members' wishes of the other member states of ASEAN. So there's a lot going on in the region that we have to be aware of, and thankfully this legislation captures the complexities and the needs of the region, while the regime consistently fails to provide that leadership and that coalition within ASEAN.
Thank you, Brittany. Yeah, for bringing that up. It was a sad situation, and Cambodia is a chairmanship, and Cambodia been quote quote working with the military leader, and also not just working with the military leader, announced too that they are, they legitimate in Myanmar. So back and forth, people are still suffering in Myanmar, and people are still, like Brittany said, I believe less than 2 weeks ago they are executing, and I think there's I believe 6 or 7 women lately that actually on trial to be, not even on trial, is their name up there to be next in line to be executed. So there's no fair and due process in Cambodia. There's no fair and due process in Myanmar. They are like two brothers. That was the term that they coined. Two brothers that just monkey around with democracy, monkey around with the people, the innocent people life in Cambodia.
Yeah, and also in addition to the women who are next in the execution line are also children too. So it shows you the brutality of the military leader and much like what we see in Cambodia too. So they're providing legitimacy to each other.
That's right. And Hun Sen went and visit Myanmar, went and visit and also legitimize the military leader as the legit voting. It's not even voting, legit top leader. So it is we are talking about the same thing. Horrible thing happened in ASEAN. I mean, that's 10 country that put together, and so it's time for ASEAN to reevaluate what's going on, to reevaluate their 10 country period, because what they're doing, it's not working right now. And having Cambodia as a rotating Cambodia does not become a lead a chairman because they are improving or 100% respect human right, anything like that. They are just chairman because every year there's a rotational shift in which country get to be the chairman. And the situation in Myanmar is getting worse, and the situation in Cambodia is getting worse. We still have land grabbing, we still have deforestation. This morning, there's new on the deforestations in one of the mountain. We'll talk about that on the next show, but it's still going on, and people are land grab, and land grabbing is considered human right, affecting human right, because when family doesn't have their land, it's affect their ability to live, affect their ability to functions, and that's affecting their rights. So it still is going on. Anything you want to add regarding S3052, Bong Sita?
I I want to plead for the people to call on their senators to move the bill, pass the bill, help pass the bill, help co-sponsor the bill. You can call your senators to ask them to do that, and that way they can pass the Senate's floor and have the bill moved on to the next level. So that's what everybody can do. And it's important if they hear it from the constituent of their state, they will likely to move faster and listen to their constituent more than just us on a different state and pleading for them to help with the bill.
Thank you, Bong. I put up if anybody gonna read summer reading, we still in summer, people usually off on vacations, go somewhere, please print out a copy of this and read this. The S3052, I put a link on the chat. Please go there, download and read it. It's one piece of documentation that describe what's going on in Cambodia. And so if one piece of item that you're going to read this summer, please read this, and please help, like Bong Sita said, call your senator. And I put this section up. It said the United States government through diplomacy and assistance should urge the government of Cambodia to, let me see, I'm going to read some of them. It's like number E, reinstate the political status of the Cambodian National Rescue Party and other opposition party, restore the Cambodian National Rescue Party elected seat in the National Assembly, and support electoral reform effort in Cambodia with free and fair election monitored by international observer. And when we earlier we talking about political prisoner, this one is talking of, let me see, where section talking about political prisoner. Let me see. So this one is talking about to immediately discontinue the imprisonment and judicial harassment of journalists, political dissidents, and activists, and drop politically motivated charges. So that's what one of the. So let me see, from 3 5, so that's 7 of them. They want the Cambodian government to through this to drop all charges and release all political prisoner. So, and on that also talking about sanctions relating to undermining democracy in Cambodia, like our guest already said it, free asset directly and substantially. So talking about people that directly and substantially undermine democracy in Cambodia. So this is talking about when we're talking about dirty dozen, it's not just a dozen of them. It's like 100 dozen of them that exist in Cambodia. So it's not just 12 of them. When we talk about 12 of the top 12 of the very the dirtiest people. And it's not just that, and there's many more. So that's summarized in the S3052 plea. If you don't read anything, just read this one and understand it. We all talk about already. We both here telling, and also there's also propaganda. Also, there's wording on the street that this bill will hurt or affect the ordinary Cambodian people. Brittany already mentioned, Sita has already mentioned as well. This is not going to affect the people in Cambodia. It's going to affect people that undermine democracy, people that abuse. For example, if you are involved in land grabbing, if you are involved in hurting, abusing people meaning abusing the people human rights in terms of, like I said, land grabbing is also human right. Also deforestations, like I said, the hot news this morning is deforestations in one of the mountain, and it's very sad situation that Cambodia day by day keep losing forests, and it's a chronic issue that nobody can solve, because those chronic issue is created by the dirtiest dozen, and also created by head of state. And also when we're talking about head of state, we're talking about impunity. We have a campaign on ending impunity, for justice for Cambodia, for victim of state-backed killing. We can never find those killer, and that's one of the topic as well that we always bring up. It's not the ordinary people that go and kill somebody. It's ordered by the state. It's ordered by the people who has power in Cambodia. So it's not going to affect. But what is the benefit? Brittany's already said the benefit is when political space. That's one of the thing that Brittany talking about, Sita talking about, is political space. When we tightening the rope on the regime, freezing their asset, hopefully it's hurt them enough that they let, like, independent journal and they release political prisoners. So hopefully those are something that we look forward to, because people are still in prison. People are still in prison every day for what they believe in, for giving their opinion, for their freedom of speech, of freedom expressions. Anything I missed, Brittany and Sita, regarding S3052?
Brittany, do you want to touch base, like how many senators are co-sponsor for this bill already, that support the bill already?
So I think according to my last count, it has 13 bipartisan co-sponsors. Is that the most recent count?
Total was 15. I mean, including the people that the sponsor the bill. So total is 15, and also because, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Okay.
15 in total, which is great, and also worth pointing out that this is bipartisan. So it's across the aisle. Both Republicans and Democrats are working together because they see the value in this legislation, and they see the need for targeted sanctions and for accountability. It's been very reassuring to talk to our elected officials in the United States, and they're very aware of the situation in Cambodia and in the region, and the need to address the injustices that we see under this regime. So while it was originally sponsored by Senator Markey of Massachusetts, senators across the United States have been very favorable to this legislation. So a special thank you to the senators and their staffers who have been very active to push this. And we're hopeful that it will reach President Biden's desk by the end of this year. Hopeful and also expecting that.
Let me add something. We know 15 senators that came out and put their name on it, that what they call co-sponsor, meaning that they are co-sponsoring. When this going to be on the floor to vote, they're going to vote yes on it. And also, just because there are 22 of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, there's 11 from the majority and 11 from minorities, and it moved out of their hand raised. I mean, they are agreeing as well that this need to be out to vote. So we are counting those 22, and those 22 are part of the 15. So we have a total of 32 right now. So and the Senate, for people that are not familiar with the American government, we have a total of 100 senators, because 2 senators from each state. So we are almost halfway, but we are not done. We are not done working on that, and we need your help, the audience. We need your help. If you are in America, we need you to call your friend and family that in America. So that way they can tell their friend and their family, say, whichever state you at, if they have your senator have not sponsored yet, please sponsor. Call them, email them, write them, so that way they able to co-sponsor S3052. Also, let me ask last question, because someone asked me this 2 weeks ago. How confident are you from 0 to 100%? How confident are you that this is gonna go to President Joe Biden's hand? Brittany, you can go first. Give me a percentage.
100%. And this isn't the first rendition of this legislation. So the Senate has seen this before, and we're very confident and hopeful and expecting a signature from President Biden by the end of this year.
Thank you, Brittany. Sita, what is your percentage on this?
The same, 100%. Otherwise, we won't be so passionate about it. We have high hope.
Thank you. And yes, I'm going to give my answer 100% as well, because my thing is, we work so hard and we put all our energy to it. We don't go in thinking that we're going to lose. We are not lose. We are not. We are going in because we believe that we're going to win. We're going to move this all the way to President Joe Biden. So 100% from 3 years. So we are very hopeful, and very believe that this going to win. This going to all the way to President Joe Biden. So,
and if I may, I want to add something.
Go ahead.
So the reason we have high hope is once it passed the Senate, right now it has many co-sponsors already, like everybody mentioned already. And once it passes the Senate, it's going to go to Congress, and the Congress already passed their version of the bill, very similar, which was HR 4686. So we know that they passed that bill already. Now the Senate bill going back to them, and very similar. So I'm sure it's going to pass the Congress as well. And once that passed the Congress, it's on its way to the president. So that's why we speak highly of the bill. We have high hope.
And we want our audience to know that we're talking about it. It's not because, I think it's because it's been a while that we talk about it, been a couple months. So we want to give an update because you saw on the news regarding that. I just want to give people say what's going on. when is the party? The party's not yet, but we're going to party, and we believe in it. So and if I happen to disconnect, Brittany and Sita can say goodbye, but I my computer just told me that my battery is running low, so so I didn't charge it. So hopefully it's a couple more minutes. Anything to add, Brittany, before we say goodbye to our audience?
Nothing to add. Thanks again for the show. I know that we have a lot of challenges that we're consistently facing when we talk about human rights and democracy in the United States and of course in Cambodia. So I'm hopeful and I'm happy for this good news because I think we all needed it to kind of keep our motivation up. So I want everyone who's working in this fight, no matter where you are in the world, to take a minute to congratulate yourself for what you did to help pass along this legislation, but also to keep moving forward because we have an entire marathon to run.
Yeah, it's a marathon. It's not. Yeah, Sita, anything to add before we say goodbye to our audience?
Just asking the audience to pick up the phone when Brittany or Linda call because we still need to advocate to those senators that need to be lobbied with, and please, people in those different states, pick up the phone and agree to be on the constituent to advocate to their senators. Right, Brittany?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bong. And also, since Bong talking about the future constituent, let me thank the previous constituent who joined us and also take their time to, not even though they're not with us, to call their senator, to call their Congress, because when we start working on this, we start on HR 4686, and and a lot of Congress, many Congress, but it was passed the House by 96%. So it's all everyone effort. It's all the people, the Cambodian American people effort. It's not my effort. It's not Brittany. It's not Sita effort. It's everybody from the 50 state effort that put all in, that spend their time and also join us. And also, it's like I said, the Congress and the senator want to hear your voice, the people that live in their city, the people that live in their state. And so for that, thank you so much for that. You always join us. You always believe in democracy, and democracy, that word you hear a lot. It's like Brittany said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon that you have to have hope. What people said, why it take so long for Hun Sen been in power since 1984. It's a long time, but but we still not losing hope, and we still gonna continue. And like I said, hope, as long there's hope, there's always there.
So her computer died.
Yeah.
Take away, Brittany. Close the show.
I think we left on a perfect note that that as long as there's hope, there's a possibility, and we have to continue fighting together and fighting for a better world. I think that's pretty much it.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Brittany, and thank you to our audience, and thank you for the future people who are going to be helping us pushing this bill moving forward.
Bye, Bong.
Bye. I guess we just close and then it'll close itself. Okay.
Yep.